We hit the United States and we scared them. Then, inevitably, bin Laden himself speaks, preaching to his followers.
لولا العلم لما علمنا أن الجهاد فرض علينا ولا علمنا ما يريد الله سبحانه وتعالى فالعلم مطلوب للعمل.
And I think it's a really telling piece of propaganda how it weaves together religious imagery to superimpose them on the tactics and actions of Al-Qaeda.
This homemade propaganda.
We have faced a more lethal and ideological brand of terrorists who have perverted one of the world's great religions.
Let's be clear, though. Islam is not our adversary. Muslims are peaceful and tolerant people and have nothing whatsoever to do with terrorism.
Islam has a proud tradition of tolerance.
I trust that most people here, one of the reasons why we're here is because we all agree that there is a problem of radical Islam, not just in Britain but in the world today, that a militant Islamist movement does exist. It's extremely powerful. Several countries are in its grip. It's growing, and it's growing in presence not only in individual countries, but in the UN and in communities in this country. It is real, it has a real presence, and it shouldn't be ignored.
Emmanuel Macron is coming for a great deal of criticism for supposedly attacking Islam in France. All 8 million Muslims in France, it has been said, are under attack. Is he doing that, or is he simply taking on radical Islam and extremism?
Macron is definitely not attacking Islam, he's attacking radical Islam. That was made clear in his speech on the 2nd of October, where he had a good balancing act between attacking radical Islamism, and
Jain extremists are actually they are paralyzed by their pacifism. Jain extremists they can't take their eyes off the ground when they walk lest they step on an ant. They filter every sip of water through cheesecloth lest they swallow and thereby kill a bug. I mean, needless to say, they're vegetarian. So the problem, notice, the problem is not religious extremism, okay? Because extremism is not a problem if your core beliefs are truly nonviolent. The problem isn't fundamentalism, which we often hear this said. These are euphemisms. I mean, the only problem with Islamic fundamentalism are the fundamentals of Islam.
And to our friends and fellow citizens in the Muslim community, Canadians know acts such as these committed in the name of Islam are an aberration of your faith.
There was a splash of religion that came in the 1980s that gave it some kind of righteousness. Oh yeah, the Prophet Muhammad said, do it to them. So it made you feel good to kill children. It made you feel good to enslave women, put them under burqas. Great. If you are a man and you have the urge, go take them. The Prophet Muhammad said so.
Islam is the source of their identity, as a source of spiritual fulfillment, of hope, of solace. And there are the phobes, the haters, the bigots out there who want to push the clash of civilizations, who want to divide all of us into them and us and ours and their. Ladies and gentlemen, I urge you all not to fuel the arguments of the phobes and bigots. Don't legitimize their divisions. Don't legitimize their hate. Trust those Muslims who you know, who you've met, who you hear, who don't believe in violence, who do want you to hear the peaceful message of the Quran as they believe it to be taught to the majority of Muslims, the Islam of peace and compassion and mercy, the Islam of the Quran, not of Al-Qaeda. Ladies and gentlemen,
Because within hours of my Prophet's death, fighting broke out between his followers. The Prophet said there is no difference between black and white. What did his followers say? Oh, of course there is. the Quraysh, the people of Quraysh, the tribe of Quraysh, is destined to rule over the majority who we call the Ansar. And we then claim that it's a religion of peace. Every caliph after the Prophet Muhammad, I think 3 out of the 4 were murdered by fellow Muslims. Ali, the son-in-law of the Prophet, was murdered while he was praying. Osman was murdered. Abu Bakr, first caliph, launched the war of apostasy within a year, killing thousands of fellow Muslims who were declared as Muslims who had stopped practicing Islam, therefore they deserve to die. Let alone everything else. The Umayyad Caliphate from Damascus slaughtered the family, the progeny of Prophet Muhammad, his grandson, his great-grandsons. Babies were slaughtered. So our history is not of peace, for goodness sake. We can change ourselves only after we admit we are wrong. But if we keep on reminding ourselves that we are peaceful people, even as we kill babies in Kabul,